Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Neki broadcast. Today we are playing Battle for Wesnoth, and I am actually casting a game I have just finished versus Angry Narwhal. It was an absolutely fantastic game. The map, it was Walls of Pyrennis, and as you can see I am spawning as player 1, and I am actually, you can't see it yet, but I am elf. So I go with this a bit unconventional recruit. So actually I was risking here for a quick archer because I was trying to get this village, which I got. But then I realized 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For some reason it seems that the let's say the penalty for this village is more than 1. Therefore, this archer cannot actually reach this village. Then I tried a second scout, quick scout for this village, which I got. So I discovered that the village pattern grabbing on this map can be this scout going here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Then this archer going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So scout here and then here. Archer here and then here, fighter here and another scout here. So that was a pretty neat pattern. Also, I didn't want to go into negative income. That's why I used my leader immediately to grab the back village and then recruit some more fighters and so on and so forth. Obviously, I had no idea that my opponent was orc. Interesting village grabbing pattern from my opponent as well, going with the level 0 here for the village in the back. Wolf and Brunt as well. Then Wolf for early scouting, and then some more grunts, because why not? You can never go wrong with grunts. So you can see here my village pattern unraveling and immediately recruiting more fighters, simply because my initial recruit was low on fighters. Now, nothing too crazy here in terms of village grabbing. He already knows what I am, and he already recruits an assassin, which is an interesting choice. Village grabbing as well, as I was saying, and at this point I also know what he is, so I'm recruiting more fighters. These two are quick, and this is resilient intelligent, and this one here is again a non-quick fighter, probably a resilient one as far as I can remember. Now it's really interesting to see what he did. So if you see how he plays here, he doesn't go too crazy on this flank. He keeps this grunt in place, which tells me that he's not really that serious about the attack. If you look at the fact that he also recruited an assassin, right? He's clearly not serious about the attack. Now, there's no way for me to tell. I mean, I know that an archer is coming. He might be committing. Main grunt could also attack here on this. Could still threaten this village at night. So there's no way for me to tell. So I do have to put my unit in place. So as you can see, I'm bringing here 4 fighters, so I could, for example, put this on a mountain, and the scout positioning is also very accurate because I can go around and grab this forest, or even if I go in a straight line I can grab the mushrooms. So I'm making provisions here, having 5 units, plus I don't want any shenanigans, any run-bys with these units, so I'm recruiting another fighter to grab this village and basically lock this, secure this village, lock it down, make sure that this is absolutely secure. Now this is a strong, resilient fighter. Now, most orc players would have pushed their units forward. However, Angry Narwhal realized that 5 units here, he's not going to have a lot of success with his orcs. So he actually, oh, never mind, he actually did push his units forward. I must be remembering wrong. However, if you look at what he recruited, he did not recruit a grunt to follow up this attack, right? He recruited a Naga. Why? Because he's already preparing the second cycle attack. So that was really well played. So he's basically trying to have the right unit composition on both the right hand side and left hand side. So he's already recruiting a Naga, which he's going to slowly walk all over here. Then he's probably going to recruit another assassin from this flank. He's really pacing his attack, right? This is also not all too crazy. But this is definitely an attack that needs to be taken seriously. So this is why I started, basically I put this dexterous resilience on the village so it can produce a lot of retaliation of both the assassin and the orcish archer. I placed this 36 elvish fighter on flats. Why? Because he can only be attacked from two sides and he does not have two orcish grunts, so it would be really difficult for him to kill my elvish fighter. He would need basically 4 out of 4, which might never happen, and this elvish fighter will deal a lot of retaliation. Now, this scout can get on the village. Why? Because as you will see, he cannot be reached by any grunts. So this is an incredibly difficult defense to break through. So elvish scout is absolutely fine. No grunts can reach it. This needs 4 out of 4. Is me taking a risk, and I'm sure Angry Now, I'm absolutely sure at this point he will not take this risk because I don't see other units coming. I don't see pushing on this side either. I don't see any kind of aggression, and obviously it's not even, it's not even worth talking about it. He does have 3 slots, but it offers nothing. You might as well go for this on the village, right? Plus, if things do go south and if a fight does break out, I always have my leader to help out. Now, I bring my archer forward as well, simply because I have enough units on this side. So there's no way he's going to attack into this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No way he's attacking into this. On this side, I think I recruited yet another elvish fighter. Again, I wanted no shenanigans on this side, so I would have none of it. But as you can see, I'm already I'm moving my leader backwards, so any attack here would be absolutely destined to fail. He sees this with his wolves, and he's already retreating. And this was a great move. There's no way to press the issue if you can't really succeed at first night. As you can see, he already has his Nagas in place. So the Naga that I said is going to go around actually came here. Then there's another Naga on the other side. Nagas are really good. They are really great orc units. They are neutral, right? So they can fight during the day equally good. And there is this water here. And they deal quite a lot of reliable damage, to be fair. It's very, very good units. I mean, he's basically fine-tuning his unit composition, taking his time, which is absolutely great to see. Now, it is second watch, and I'm saying, look, he hasn't attacked. Definitely momentum is on my side, and as you can see, I'm placing my units quite aggressively. So you see, this one is on flat. It could be theoretically attacked from 3 sides, but I don't really care. He's not going to go for it. Also, this scout's placement is basically at least putting some pressure on this village. The other scout placement here, basically I have 2 fighters. I have nothing to worry about on this side. Absolutely nothing to worry about. But this scout here is placed in such a way that it avoids the grunt, and also it can reach this village, basically putting more pressure. He has to do something about this scout. He has to rearrange his units. Also, this scout is threatening on this side as well. Plus, this strong dexterous elvish fighter could also go on this side. So he has a lot of things to deal with. So he's going to deal with them one by one. So as you can see, he's basically placing these units, but this doesn't stop my elvish scout from doing anything. So he's bringing the Naga. At this point, I know he has 4 units on this side. Again, forming a line, staying out of my reach. It's night, so he doesn't care that much. I'm fine-tuning his unit placement here. Okay, And he doesn't really care about this village. He knows that if I take this village, my scout will become an easy target. So that's why I'm not even taking that village. I'm putting my fighter in range of this village. But, I mean, of course, I'm forming here a line, a V shape if you wish. It's dawn. I am confident that he will not attack. I'm sure that the assassin cannot reach this mushroom. And if the orcish grunt does reach this mushroom at 40%, it's as if it were flat. So I'm not too bothered about this. Plus, I am placing my archer. Okay, I'm placing the elvish fighter, making sure that this choke point is relatively clear. So basically I'm saying I'm going to be very aggressive in my attack at this point. Archer here, because it can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It can reach this village as well. And now I take this scout and I see an opportunity here. I'm basically stealing this forest, right? Because he can only reach me with the wolf rider. So this is an incredibly strong position. I can see his every single move. I'm also threatening his villages. I'm basically forcing him to make, make a decision, address it in one way or the other. He can't just ignore it. He has to address this village in some way, right? He has to do something about it. I don't remember what I did on the other flank. Again, I pushed my fighter forward. I said, basically, I want to fight here. Now, to be fair, if he puts his Nagini fight on 70% and these grunts on 60%, all these fighters, they do absolutely nothing. I need a mage. I need a mage to truly scare him. So these fighters don't deal absolutely nothing versus 70% and 60%, 60%. That would be an incredibly difficult wall to break through. However, he's low on grunts. So I'm banking on that he's low on grunts and he'll have to use some other types of units to grab these strongholds. Of course, I am pushing my elvish scout forward. I'm basically making a statement here that, look, I really want you to take me seriously. However, it's difficult for him to take me seriously when I only have 2 units. But I'm making the statement anyway. Now, I see at this point on the map, I see 2 orcish assassins, right? So I recruit another shaman, basically for the long game, and also I move my mage forward. I'm basically I didn't really care about the mage. I really didn't want to fight with the mage. But I'm basically making a statement saying that, look, I want this positioning to be taken seriously. I don't want you to just, apply the strategy where you basically debilitate my units at dawn, forcing them to attack with poison, forcing them to attack with low HP. I want you to take these units seriously. I want you to basically organize your defense. I don't want you to just go and attack them, right? Stop them in their steps, right? I don't want you to do that. Take them seriously, please. And Angry Narwhal, he's getting angry at this cavalier attitude for me, and he said, I have had enough. And he basically starts poisoning my units from 60%. So we shall see here. He unfortunately misses with his assassin. He unfortunately misses with his archer. He does poison me with this last assassin. So his other units basically reorganize themselves on these villages. And this Naga fighter is preventing basically every single move of mine. I mean, these fighters can't really help here. So that is the characteristic of this map, right? It's relatively easy. You see, he has this wall of units here, and he's basically cutting the map in half. These 4 units can't really help on this side. On this side, I only have 2 shamans, a fighter, a scout, and my leader. These other units are otherwise preoccupied. So from this perspective, that was a nice little move here, well executed, right? However, now I had basically 3 fighters, a shaman, a leader, scout, you name it. I had all these units here, and I said, I I only have 2 frail assassins. I might as well try and kill them. So I went for the assassin once. I went for it twice. I went for this assassin as well. I failed miserably. And then I said, I'm going to fight here as well from 50%. It's more or less lure the fire of these units onto my scout. Really, the scout does not do much. So again, this particular Elvish fighter is coming to help as well. Now, because I was a bit frustrated, right? I think I slowed down this archer. But I was a bit frustrated at this point because I couldn't kill any assassin, right? So I was a bit frustrated, and I think I did something. So I grabbed the village there. Then I attacked because it's day already, so I really wanted to make full use of my fighters. I attacked the wolf. I pushed my units forward. Why? Because I wanted to grab this village, put a lot of pressure onto him, basically play like an orc, and move my Elvish archer here. Why? Because again, I wanted to put pressure on this village. I wanted to put pressure on this unit here. I wanted to put pressure on this unit. Basically, I wanted to make a statement. I'm ready to fight out in the open because it's day, and I'm also going to grab some villages out of it. Deal with it. You have to deal with this, do that, with this. You have so many things to deal with all over the map. And I did one more thing here. I moved my leader forward to deal with this assassin simply because I was a bit frustrated. I wasn't dealing enough damage. So, although I had a bit of luck, to be honest, minus 46 taken. So I said I want to make sure. I mean, the leader would be perfect units to kill this assassin. Now, this should open up the map for me, right? So this was my thought process. Plus, I was near the shaman, so I was absolutely fine. Now, he keeps recruiting, obviously, even if I took one of his villages, he can still recruit because his units are quite cheap. Poisons that fighter, absolutely fine, but he, again, goes for this one here as well, which basically takes advantage of the fact that my units are scattered. So from this perspective, it was a poor play from my side. I should be keeping my units into a flock and try to kill orc units one by one rather than play as an orc myself during daytime. So from this perspective, strategically, this is a bit of an odd play. However, if I do have this odd play where I am being the aggressor and taking villages from orc, I do need to make sure my leader is on a keep, constantly recruiting. So it's a bit of a contradiction in my strategy. I'm grabbing villages here, but at the same time my leader is fighting. So it's odd. It's a bit greedy for me trying to do 2 things at once. Anyway, he gets 2 out of 2 here versus Elvish Fighter. And my Elvish Fighter deals absolutely no retaliation damage. That was, I think, when RNG started swaying things around. So that was really, really painful for me. Plus, his second grunt basically killed that Elvish Fighter like it was never there. He got absolutely no retaliation damage from that Elvish Fighter. So it's basically minus 58%. So now things are starting to even out, right? So RNG is starting to even out things, which again, don't complain. I also had the benefit of RNG, but look here, now he's missing on my Elvish Fighter, and his Nagini Fighter is taking a lot of retaliation damage. His wolf is jumping in, and he is basically here to fight. He is basically saying, your leader is not going back. And this is a very good, a very interesting move. Why? Because I have 2 shamans. They can definitely slow and heal, right? But they can't really, right? They can't really kill units quickly. So my only damage dealers are my leader, which I should use to get away rather than attack, and my Elvish Fighter and these 2 Elvish Fighters, right? So these are just support units. Well, if you think about it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I should be fine. I mean, I have enough units here. I mean, there is also this Naga 8, 9. So these actually have the potential of creating some numerical superiority, right? So I think he's going to use them. Okay, even kill that. So he's using these units to create some sort of numerical superiority. Now, I had two options here with my Elvish fighters. I could have either attacked this Orcish archer. I wasn't that bothered about the Orcish archer, simply because it can't really attack my leader, right? So I went for the Grunt instead. However, Grunt has 43 hit points, whereas the Orcish archer only had 20 hit points. From this perspective, this was another mistake of mine. I mean, sure, Orcish Grunt deals damage, but this one is 15, this one is 14. Damage versus damage, they deal the same. So my leader was still high up there in hit points. There was no reason for me to hurry. I would have said killing this Orcish archer and getting a bit more experience into this Elvish fighter would have been the better play. It would have been the more intelligent play. For example, putting the Elvish fighter here to soak up all the damage and putting the other Elvish fighter here to get the experience from the Orcish archer, and then the Elvish fighter would have been within 8 hit points of leveling up. So again, small inaccuracy. I mean, good play so far, but here, small inaccuracy that cost me. So 60% versus 40%. I deal decent damage there. However, this cost me. I get 2 out of 2 in, and I don't really get the Orcish Grunt that low. I grab another village and I heal. Again, this is what perhaps also another mistake from my side. I should have fought at this point 3 villages. They don't help me, simply because my leader is fighting and is trapped here. My leader is not going to be able to go back and recruit. Sure, they affect the income of my opponent, but it would have been better if I would have used these units to fight, right? And this, I don't know, why would I go back and protect the village? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, sure, he can take a village back. I still have two villages. It would have been better to use this unit to deal some damage, right? Perhaps put it here, deal some free damage on his grunt. I should take all my opportunities to deal damage, not protecting villages from nobody. Plus, this is basically throwing my archer away from the fight. And Angry Narwhal is actually noticing all these mistakes. Then again, 28 on Wolf Rider, Nagini fighter 20. Sure, I want to get my back to the wall and I want to make sure that I have an escape route. If I wanted to make sure I have an escape route, it could have been better if I would have moved my leader here and would have moved my shaman on this side. It had been a bit cleaner, right? It would have ensured the fact that my leader would have had a slot to go back. However, this is a bit greedy. I wanted to push my Elvish shaman inside. I wanted to make sure that I basically slow down 2 units at once. It was a bit greedy and a bit poorly executed. I don't get the damage I need on the Wolf Rider. So here I should get 2 units versus 40%, which I don't. And this is, again, this can happen. Again, my opponent was unlucky as well. So this is suddenly putting me in a difficult position. Rather than having 2 shamans slow down 2 units, right? I now have to deal with a stray Wolf Rider. And things are getting increasingly complicated here. So I'm missing 2 out of 2. This is starting to get dangerous. So instead of basically slowing down 2 units, I have 2 Elvish shamans doing absolutely nothing. You could say, oh, but that was a reasonable assumption that you'll be able to kill the wolf. Yes, it was, but things like this can happen. So I'm stretched to my limit with what my leader can do. So it does seem like my leader is safe. He can only be attacked from one side. However, this shaman on 40% on flat is food. Now, I'm so desperate, I realize the urgency of the situation that I'm even using my Elvish scout to fight here. so I am getting these units low. However, I haven't killed these units, which is again problematic. I only killed 3 units, and Orc has the resources to regenerate much faster than I do. Get some damage there, and now you can have all the villages with both town recruiting this game. So that was a philosopher. But that was like Confucius saying, that was a full of wisdom. So now he realizes that his chance of winning this game is here. He should make sure that my leader never goes to recruit. And that is feasible because I have an Elvish Shaman 40%. Because these Elvish fighters, they are fighters, but they are quite frail. They have low hit points. And he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 units, 9. But he's the one attacking. So he's the one that can choose which units to attack. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, maybe 8, but maybe 9. But the fighting units are low on hit points. So he sees the opportunity. He goes there for the fighter. And he, again, this should have been dead archer. However, it's not. It's close to leveling up. And that basically comes back to haunt me. Now, is he going to get the shaman? Oh, he's going to get it. Had the shaman survived, that would have been absolutely terrible. So, you see, he had the area to basically account for these failed hits, whereas I didn't have. I only had shamans which deal very little damage. He said he did it wrong. However, I don't think he did it wrong. He put a lot of damage onto my leader, and he is absolutely fine. As you can see, the fact that my leader is top instead of bottom, I'm susceptible to this kind of zone of control. Now, this would be incredibly difficult for my leader to go back. My leader could probably escape top, but I have this Goblin Spearman, which is basically blocking everything. So I'm noticing the trap closing in on me, right? I have to kill these 2 units. These 2 units leveling up would be absolutely terrible. So this is what I'm going to do now. And there are more units coming my way. So this is basically a desperation move from my side. I'm not really sure. Okay, this is basically where the replay stops, but I can tell you what happened here. I basically come with the Elvish fighter and I kill this Orcish archer. I come with this Elvish scout and I kill this Orcish grunt. No, I come with this one and I kill this Orcish grunt. Then I try to kill this Goblin Spearman simply because I see my only escape route is top. So I come with this here and I fail. Then I realize the situation is really, really bad. So I kill the Nagini fighter. And so 15 hit points, right? I kill the Nagini fighter, and then I slow down the Orcish grunt. So I have a slow down Orcish grunt that can attack me, and I have as well the Nagini fighter here that can attack my leader. So 15 hit points versus, of course, it's a strong one. So 5-4 and 5-2. So basically he needs 3 hits out of 5. And he gets them. There was no way I could defend versus this. I could have perhaps put my Elvish fighter here, and then the Nagini fighter would have gone around, and also this Goblin Spearman would have gone and attacked my leader. So either way, I would have died. So there it is. I got into a skirmish. I wouldn't say I was a bit unlucky because I was lucky in the beginning. So I got into a skirmish without knowing my limits. Orc might seem that, okay, it's day and you can fight him. However, you can't always do, and he will always have more units than you do. And remember, Elvish fighters on flat, especially in such a disorganized attack without having the Elvish shamans to back them up, because my army was cut in half, separating the Elvish fighters from the Elvish shamans. Well, it can get messy. Fighting versus Orc like that, it can get messy. You have to be really structured when you fight versus Orc. They can always come back. Never rule them out. Anyways, so when I said very interesting game into the beginning, I mean, I'm sure you guys assumed that I won the game. I didn't. Angry Narwhal played really well. I made some mistakes looking in hindsight, just swapping things around a bit. For example, Leader with the Shaman would have been better, definitely, and resulted in a longer game. However, I was overconfident and lost to a leader kill. Anyways, I hope you ladies and gentlemen liked it, and I shall see you later.